another night with snow in the forecast. We take you inside the cozy but intimidating confines of the Pavilion. Number 5, Villanova, looking to keep their firm grip atop the Big East, taking on Marquette. Alex Bow, Steve Lavin here with you. A week ago tonight, Villanova was stunned by red-hot St. John's, but as they've done all season long, Lav, they bounced back, getting a win against Georgetown on Sunday.
Yeah, the Cats put up 84 points, Alex. And Jermaine Samuels catching fire, 32 points, a career high, 6 of 7 from behind the arc, and also showing the ability to put it on the deck and create aggressively, as always, pinpoint passing on display by Villanova.
Well, Villanova's played just 8 conference games so far, but despite a few pauses, nobody's really been able to threaten them, and Marquette is trying to get out from the bottom half of the Big East standings. Big task tonight. Marquette's played some tight games this season. Each of their last 3 have come down to the final possession. Major challenge awaits the Golden Eagles as they take on the Wildcats. Tip-off on FS1 is next. Big East basketball is sponsored by Jeep Grand Cherokee. Jeep, there's only one. Another cold night in Philly. Marquette in town to take on Villanova. Cats at 12-2 on the season. Marquette at 9-10 on the year. DJ Carton coming off 16 points against Creighton, 71-68. Another tight loss for Marquette, but Carton coming off another good game. He's averaging 14 per game in Big East play.
Yeah, Alex, he is the shot maker, playmaker. Marquette's at their best when DJ Carton is in command and orchestrating this Golden Eagle attack.
He had a pair of threes to get Marquette within a single possession late. Of course, Jermaine Samuels, Big 5 player of the week in Philadelphia. One word Jay Wright used to describe him: phenomenal. Sunday with those 32 points, a career high.
Yeah, 6 of 7 from behind the arc as well. Playing with confidence, as this Villanova team does. 10 3-pointers made per game.
Let's take a look at the starting lineup, sponsored by Jeep Grand Cherokee. Well, Marquette, they're hoping that they can get an impact from Theo John, especially the way he protects the rim, stuffed the stat sheet against Creighton on Saturday. And for Villanova, led by their senior Colin Gillespie at points. Underway in Philadelphia, Mike Roberts, Matt Potter, and John Higgins, our officiating crew. And here's Caleb Daniels attacking and hitting the front of the rim. Rebound for Marquette. Boy, what a strange season it's been. They've had some really good wins, some head-scratching losses, a lot of tight games, 7 of them decided by a single possession, an 8th that went to overtime.
Well, and the big wins over Creighton and rival Wisconsin.
Inside, and a pass from Theo John on the finish. Couldn't be made right underneath. And Villanova comes away with it. Net ranking of 11 for Villanova. And despite all the stop-start parts of their season, they have really not skipped a beat. Veteran team. And as this gets knocked away, and an early turnover for the Cats.
And that's rare. Villanova averaging 9 turnovers per game on the season, and that's number 2 in all of college basketball.
Well, Steve Wojciechowski, you had a chance to catch up with him the other day. This is an interesting season for Marquette in that they have some of these great wins, but right now struggling in conference play, 5-8 on the year.
4 of 5 losses, so important this evening against Villanova that Marquette gets out to a good start and build some confidence and momentum if they're going to have an opportunity to win this game.
Oh, foul here from Dawson Garcia, the freshman, as he knocks down Jermaine Samuels. 7th season for Woj in Milwaukee. Urgency and physicality, words that Dwayne Killings used a couple times last year down the stretch. A struggle for Marquette. to finish out last season as the Wildcats get on the board with another 3 from Jermaine Samuels. He had 6 trays on Sunday.
This Villanova team, excellent passing, precise, pinpointed passing. They really help shooters on the floor by delivering the ball right into their shooting pocket where they can take it right up. And that's a great trait. Help a teammate play at a higher level by giving him the ball where he wants it.
Late pass here to Kobe McEwen. The fadeaway off the rim. Rebound for Garcia, and he gets swatted.
Nice block by Moore there from behind. Good collapse by Villanova into the lane. Villanova takes their time. They look for matchups they feel where they have an advantage, and they use that back down approach, keeping the bounce alive, as Samuels did there to draw the foul.
Early foul on Jamal Cain, just picked up his second one. There's Jay Wright. Hard to believe, 20 years now at Villanova. And every year, seemingly, especially in the new Big East, they have been right at the top.
Phenomenal, mind-blowing success. The consistency, championship level play year after year, bringing the hardware back to Villanova.
Regular season, at least a share of it. Champions 5 of the last 6 seasons. With Garcia on the drive, gets a bump, and he'll shoot a pair.
Now 6'11", showing his skills, able to put the ball on the floor, use the size, absorbs the hit. Chance for an old-fashioned three-point play here. A good call. Gillespie tried to pick up the charge, but a little too late.
So Garcia, the top scoring freshman in the Big East this season, just outside top 10 in rebounding as well, from Prior Lake, Minnesota.
It bodes well early in the game when Garcia is attacking the rim. Not that he isn't capable of knocking down three-point shots, but using that 6'11" size is a sound approach early in the game. Put Villanova in foul-prone situations and try and get high-percentage shots.
Gillespie knocking it down from 3. A bounce back for him, too, against Georgetown.
Yeah, had one of his least impressive performances in the loss to St. John's. 6 turnovers, 0 of 8 from the three-point line. But I love the pluck, the spirit, the bounce back in the win against Georgetown, and early here against Marquette appears to be back on track.
Jose Perez off the mark at 3. Other end, Justin Moore the same. 6-2 Villanova in the early going. Wide open, Kobe McEwen knocks it down from 3. A little defensive miscue from the Wildcats.
And good recognition by DJ Carton as he pushed the ball up the floor. He had his head up, excellent vision. Finds McEwen, the open man in the deep corner. Here's that back down dribble that Villanova likes to employ offensively. Moore just comes up short. A unique approach. They'll step the bigs away, put the guards in down low, and give them the freedom to go to work. Good look by Theo John inside to Garcia, who puts one down off the window. That's excellent post passing on the interior, playing in pairs or partners. A little two-man game by the bigs.
4 early points for the freshman. Gives Marquette the lead. We'll see how many threes, as we know Villanova relies so much on. Mid-range goes here for Robinson Earl. We'll give Villanova the lead. Villanova again leading the nation in three-point percentage. Again leading the Big East, or leading the Big East, I should say, in three-point percentage. One of the tops in the nation. Leading the league in three-point makes per game. Runner right of the lane drops in for Carton.
Again, there's that shiftiness by TJ Carton. Maneuvers well off the bounce changes directions. A difficult matchup for opponents.
Gillespie hanging and scoring.
The Cats opportunistic. If they get a good look in the first 5 seconds of the possession, they'll take it. They'll run off their defense as well. But they're one of the more patient, deliberate teams in all of college basketball in terms of the patience.
Second effort here from Garcia after the miss from John. Theo John just did a little bit of everything against Creighton.
Yeah, Villanova opens up the lane for drives like this by Gillespie, and that's the third layup that Villanova's missed at point-blank range.
Well, Marquette started 0 for 4 from the field. They've since hit 3 of their last 6, and Jermaine Samuels picking up where he last left off.
Boy, what technique, excellent shooting pocket, and the floater high off the window. The bank is open. Timeout.
A nice back and forth start here. 10-9 Villanova. Number 5 team in the nation if you look at the polls, and Mike DeCourcy has them as a 2 seed at the moment. Just looking at this lab, at least from the layman looking outside in, looks like it's going to be hard to kind of bust into that top 4.
Yeah, but with the home stretch and the conference tournaments, there can be some movement. You know, your season could dramatically change for the better or the worse based on a week or 2 of either elevating your play or going south. And so the NCAA selection committee will have their most challenging experience to this point in the history of the NCAA tournament in terms of building a bracket. The COVID-19 element, the imbalance in the number of games that certain teams and conferences have played. A lot to think about.
A nice pass right off the inbound. Jeremiah Robinson Earl hanging out underneath the cylinder.
Well, an intelligent approach on that out-of-bounds play along the baseline. He just posted up and created space. A big target was demonstrative, and as a result, rewarded with the pass and an easy deuce.
First touch of the game for Cole Swider is an assist. Here's Garcia off the mark from 3. Rebound for Robinson Earl. Swider, the 6th man for the Wildcats. Gillespie in and out. Here come the Golden Eagles on the run out. Let it breathe. Jose Perez. Up and under. Couldn't find it.
Good possession here by Marquette. They were patient. They reversed the ball, put touches on the ball, played inside out, and put it down back inside to the reliable Theo John. Feels like he signed with Al McGuire or Hank Raymond's or Rick Majerus years ago. He's been around GI Bill guy for decades.
Robinson Earl's getting a lot of touches early in this game, and they've all been productive. 3 for 3 from the field to start.
Yeah, Robinson Earl with the pep in the step. Bouncy. And textbook technique on his catches down low. Footwork, takes his time, not in a rush.
Garcia, bottom on the tray to tie the game.
Well, Garcia showing his ability at the rim earlier this evening and now stepping away. And again, that versatility allows Coach Wojciechowski to deploy him in a manner to take advantage of that skill set.
They called a long 2. Left foot was on the line. There's Gillespie from the elbow. Comes up short. How about the follow for Robinson Earl?
Right time, right place. I think as cerebral and intelligent a frontline player as there is in the country. He's the backline defender there. You see him like an air traffic control tower or a middle linebacker. Now he gets beaten off the bounce on that possession. But again, Marquette comes up short. A lot of missed layups tonight, Alex, on both sides.
Marquette just 5 of 14 for the field to start. Villanova 7 of 14.
Good ball and man movement here by Villanova. Caleb Daniels uses that back down dribble, going to get the hook, offensive foul.
Well, Robinson Earl, though, he's been fed on a couple by Cole Swider, who's picked up a pair of assists since entering the game.
Robinson Earl makes it look so easy, smooth, off the glass. Here, cleaning up the garbage. Well, let's take a look here, Alex, on an excellent out-of-bounds play, the execution to precision. As we look at Robinson Earl, just going to make a diagonal dive and then post up, hold his stance, carve out space, and demonstrative with those target hands spread out, an easy deuce for Villanova. Theo John would have been better served to shade towards the basket to not allow that easy direct pass on that diagonal cut by Robinson Earl.
Well, seemingly Villanova can go to whether it's Robinson Earl or Samuels or even Gillespie just to lead them in scoring. 4 different players have led them in scoring the last 4 games. And this time it's the sophomore leading them in scoring with 8 points to start this one.
You know, one of the things that was impressive there is Robinson Earl using the length of his arms, almost like the horns if you're watching Nature Channel or Animal Planet, but nothing wrong with getting those hands, those arms extended. You're entitled to create that space.
I'll remember that next time I'm watching the Nature Channel.
I've been watching a lot of it over the last 4 or 5 months, being on the road, staying at Mr. C Hotel here close to our studios at Fox.
Turnover here from Greg Elliott. That's a pair for Marquette in the early going. Not going to see too many from Villanova. They had a rare outing, 17 last week, and their loss to St. John's. One of the best in the country. Second fewest turnovers per game entering. Samuels off the drive. What a finish for Jermaine Samuels.
And that's created, Alex, by good ball movement, man movement, but also emptying the post. They open up the basket area to allow for those dribble drives to the basket.
It was a slow start to the season, but he's come on strong of late. Spot up 3, Carton drains it.
With his size, Carton has a window to see through over the top of defenses for both shot making, as he did there, but also for his passing.
Oh, nice move, Swider, to create some room and hit for the short corner.
Yeah, impressive. Creating his own shot, separating from the defense, and then slam on the brakes. Get those feet organized for the stop and pop.
Speaking of, there's Carton.
Yeah, maneuvering to what we called the kill spot. The elbows, that mid-range jumper. Nothing wrong with that pull-up J.
Pull-up 3 wouldn't go, and Kobe McHugh in the rebound. So far, an efficient start for Marquette. And they're going to need that to hang with Villanova here. As mentioned, they've played plenty of tight games this year. There's Perez off the window, no good. And that is the 6th layup that the Golden Eagles have missed in this game. Driving here is Samuels. He'll head to the line.
Here's Samuels, a nice take. Great English off the glass there as he took it from one side of the rim to the other, and then Swider. Good shot mechanics as he gets to the spot, pulls up.
Villanova just want to layer on all the superlatives. Also good from the foul line, leading the Big East in that category, 17th in the nation, 77%.
It's a good point. There's really no deficiency. The only potential vulnerability that I see with Villanova is the lack of frontline depth, but they don't beat themselves. We were talking earlier today. It reminds me of a football team that doesn't get penalized, a baseball team that doesn't swing at bad pitches. They only turn it over 9 times. They work for great shots, and that helps build their defense. Good shots and taking care of the ball doesn't allow teams to get out in transition for easy baskets.
Nice find. McEwen with the dime to Garcia.
Yeah, Garcia in a good rhythm. Marquette to be well served to continue to keep him involved. Doesn't mean he has to force shots, but get him touches, play through the big fella.
Speaking of playing through, why not get it back to Samuels, who has been pretty tough to guard underneath the rim. Much needed basket here for Marquette to snap the drought, laying the ball in. A 2-point game here. Marquette trailing Villanova 22-20, but they got some great contributions already tonight from Dawson Garcia, the freshman.
Yeah, 6'11", Alex, and here down low, just gathering, pump faking, put one down off the glass. Here stepping away from behind the three-point line, and then the good gather and finish in traffic. And bright future, not just in terms of this season for Marquette, but down the line, and he's a next-level prospect as he gains strength and continues to build his skill set, which you tend to have more time to do in the off-season. Difficult during a season to really add tools to your offensive arsenal, but impressive early here for the Golden Eagles.
And this summer theoretically should be a lot easier to get in the gym and do all that work that really was curtailed for a lot of these young players this past summer.
Boy, that's the understatement of the year. The disruption, the interruptions, just the lack of the traditional progression, building up to a season and then through a season. What coaches, teachers talk about in terms of building blocks to a season. Everything was turned upside down, and coaches and teams are doing their best to adjust. Here's a little three-quarter court pressure by Villanova. Forces teams to use a little clock, so there's less clock once they get it over half court and try and get organized in facing this Cats pressure defense.
Yeah, they nearly forced the turnover. How about McEwen to get out of it, locating Jamal Cain on the baseline?
Yeah, a fortuitous series there. Marquette opportunistic. Broken play leads to the open jumper.
This is a fairly veteran Marquette team. Yes, they lost Marcus Howard last year, but you got 3 impact seniors with McEwen, Cain, and John. Samuels hits once again, extends the Villanova lead back to 3.
Yeah, Samuels and Robinson-Earl working well, again, as a tandem. Robinson-Earl with a little down screen that allowed Samuels to pop to the elbow, square, face up, knock down that jumper. Playing in pairs is so important, like dance partners.
Nice shimmy shake from Carton to get the open look from deep. Couldn't hit. Wildcats get into their set.
Very sharp here offensively, and there's more with the back down using the dribble. Good block by Marquette. Resistance at the rim.
And then a turnover right away on the other end. Carton may have been the one that had the block. Leads to an easy deuce for Justin Moore. And just as it looked like you get a great defensive play, you leak it out, and it goes back the other way.
Yeah, DJ Carton would better serve to get the commitment from Villanova or take it all the way and score it. Gave up the ball unnecessarily.
It was McEwen who picked up the swat. All for naught in the end. 5-point lead for Villanova. Spin move from Garcia. Another missed layup going after his own miss. Loose ball tracked down by Samuels.
I like the way Samuels secures the ball with his 2 hands. Puts it on his chest, under his chin. Vice grip hands. Really value a possession.
Samuels the ball. Samuels and Robinson-Earl combined for 18 out of the Villanova 27. Still perfect from the field, both of them. As this pass is zipped inside to Moore.
Well, there's another example of playing in pairs. This time Gillespie and Moore. as Gillespie was using that back down dribble and then sees the Cuddy Moore and just delivers the dime.
Timeout, Marquette. Seven-point lead for Villanova, largest of the evening so far. Take it back to that home run pass earlier from Gillespie.
Yeah, Gillespie read Carton well, reading his eyes there, and comes up with the steal. And then this is beautiful. Look at the delivery. Again, the two-man game is more with good footwork. Sets his man up, takes him away first, and then makes that dive cut. And Gillespie is keeping that dribble alive. The basket area open because of the spacing Villanova employs, and that allows Moore to get that bucket.
I love how when we come on the air, we were trying to decide, okay, what are we going to talk about to open the show? Are we going to talk about Gillespie again? All right, I guess we can. Maybe some other guy this time. And Gillespie's just so steady. Already 5 assists, no turnovers. Second best assist turnover ratio in the conference, 16th best in the nation, just year after year.
Well, Alex, that stretch, the first 12 games for Villanova, Colin Gillespie had 12 turnovers, so averaging 1 turnover per game, and that is remarkable considering how much he handles the ball. Marquette, again, Garcia with the hot hand.
It's 11 now for Garcia.
And an intelligent approach coming out of that timeout, and also the teammates of Dawson Garcia wanting to get the hot hand the ball. Why not? Go back to him.
Samuels sized up by McEwen. Goes after him, lowering the shoulder, and McEwen backpedaling. Gets called for the foul.
Nice little set coming out of the timeout. Good delivery by Carton again, right into the shooting pocket of Dawson Garcia, where he can just take it up. And a good pass makes a shooter quicker in terms of his release. If you have to reach down to your shoelaces or up above your head or off to the side, now you got to gather, get it into your pocket and release, and oftentimes defense is recovered and the shot is no longer open. That's where precise passing, purposeful passing is so important.
Inbound here to Gillespie, goes behind the back. Kicks it out. An extra dribble from Swider and leans in, just runs into John.
Wojo won't be happy with that.
No.
You know, they talk about flopping, but also, you know, the same concept in terms of sportsmanship and the reason they're emphasizing, you know, not flopping in college basketball. There's often times where shooters are pulling the Laurence Olivier, the Academy Award performances, Duvall, De Niro, Denzel. And there needs to be a consistency on both sides of the ball as it relates to that aspect.
Seeing if this is a 2 or 3 shot foul. And then I'll keep it at 2 for Swider. Got a lot of credit from Jay Wright over the weekend for his defensive work off the bench. I mean, it's kind of his hallmark. More of a regular fixture this season in the rotation.
Yeah, seems to be finding a groove, kind of understanding and embracing his role, and now thriving in that role as a member of the regular rotation of this Villanova team.
6-point lead for the Wildcats. Sorry, Steve.
No, it's just one more player. The threat of Swider's shot is what distorts opponents' defenses, stretches them out, and opens up the lane. How about Theo John, the weight room finish? Reliable, durable, dependable.
Double figures, perfect from the field against Creighton on Saturday. Marquette, there's hanging right here. We've layered a lot of praise on Villanova, but make no mistake, the way Marquette has played today, especially in the offensive end. Samuels bounce pass knocked away by John, coming out with a stop on this end.
One of the few poor decisions we've seen tonight by Villanova. Tough pass in tight quarters. Another turnover here for Marquette.
And another possession, too, where it's great work on one end and then a miscue on the other.
How about the big fella? Let the big dog eat. This is just the muscle man. YMCA. Timeout.
Coming up next, cheap halftime. Rob Stone, Casey Jacobson in the studio. The Big East tournament only a month away. And it's all on FS1 and Fox. Some teams and players to watch going in. And yeah, I think Villanova probably qualifies. Pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah, the hardware year after year. And Villanova was in best position when the Big East realigned because of the continuity of Jay Wright at Villanova as a coach, and had been to a Final Four, and then they took it to another level after realignment with the national championships and dominating conference and Big East tournament play as well. Checks all the boxes. He's a great recruiter, technician, makes adjustments, and evolves with the trends of the game, has a flexible mindset in terms of putting his team in the best position to be successful. And that flexibility is what has allowed him decade after decade to have success.
Turnover, and Robinson Earl gets grabbed, otherwise would have been a break the other way.
Robinson Earl, again, we talked about his intellect, and there he was in position and using his arm and his hand extended, similar to a windshield wiper, as a way to get into the passing lane and deflect that ball away, not allow that high post catch at the elbow.
This puts Villanova in the bonus with 3:09 to go in the half. Robinson Earl, Big East all-freshman team last year, fourth in the league in rebounding, and this year just what a finisher underneath the rim, shooting a hair under 50% from the field on the season. Hits them both.
Was it Tim Duncan that had the moniker the big fundamental? And, you know, this is college basketball's version of the big fundamental.
Yeah, went for another
Robinson
steal.
Earl.
I'm going to call him for the reach in here, it appears.
And so many of his contributions, Alex, are subtle. In terms of talking off the ball, his helping off of his man to provide support to his teammates when they're beaten off the dribble, his footwork in the post, the discipline and purpose to his defense. Defense without fouling. It's one thing to play hard, but there has to be intelligence as well. There he used his body, walled up on Theo John, provide resistance.
And McEwen walked. Boy, that was a great-looking possession for Marquette until the very end. Kobe McEwen struggled against Creighton over the weekend. Just 6 points, 1 for 7 from the field.
That's a good point, Alex, on that possession. And throughout the first half, you could tell Marquette is making a concerted effort to investigate or explore the inside opportunities. A good idea there by Robinson Earl, just was not caught cleanly by Samuels, and the ball ends up bouncing off his foot. But again, that's playing in pairs, dance partners, the two-man game on the interior.
Let's see if the Golden Eagles can take advantage of the turnover. They have yet to score a point on 4 of the Villanova turnovers so far. Villanova 9-0 edge in that department. Garcia and 1. And what a night for the freshman. Continues to lead the Golden Eagles in scoring, up to 13 on the evening.
Yeah, a good skip pass over the top of Villanova's defense, and then Garcia likes that matchup against Swider, so he immediately puts it on the deck and finishes with the size advantage. Garcia at 6'11" and long gets the easy deuce.
Give the assist to McEwen. And Dawson Garcia averaging about 12.5 per game. Already with 14 to lead the Golden Eagles. 3-point game. As this gets tipped into the backcourt, recovered by Robinson Earl. Gillespie.
Yeah, that back down dribble, trying to draw attention. Good defense by Theo John. Comes up with the steal after the deflection.
McHugh into the corner. 3 off the mark from Greg Elliott. Rebound for Johnny. Throws it away.
Moore there anticipating well like a defensive back. Runs in the passing lane, gets the steal, leads the break. Samuels draws the foul.
And there's going to be a technical on McEwen for the language used after. That's unfortunate.
Yep, some emotion, frustration, which is natural. You know, Marquette's lost 4 or 5. And he's a competitor and frustrated, but that only compounds issues. And I think from his perspective, you know, he felt that he didn't have a squared off position, but he did have verticality in terms of going straight up. But credit Gillespie for initiating the contact and putting an official in the position where now he's more likely to blow the whistle. Because once the defense is in a foul-prone position, why not initiate that contact?
That's now 3 fouls. And McEwen will sit. And you mentioned it, Marquette's lost 4 of 5 entering the day. They went 4-4 their first 8 Big East games. Scheduled to play Georgetown. Game swapped to Villanova here. Just started well, and again, it's late in the season. Some of the things starting to unravel. It's interesting, too, because the personnel used to... Talking about this before we came on the air, it used to be you're relying on one guy last year, well, last couple of years with Marcus Howard. This year they have a little bit more balance at their disposal.
No question. And the injury to freshman Justin Lewis really affects Marquette's rotation and their depth. And he's a player that can influence the game both offensively and defensively. His rebounding, block shots, his intelligence and versatility on offense. So that's a real blow to the Golden Eagles.
Yeah. Played just 8 games, seemingly re-aggravated an injury. 8 minutes, I should say, against Creighton. And he will not be available for Marquette tonight.
Slider steps out of bounds there, Alex. That's one of the most important things as a basketball player to understand is you want to stay in bounds. You don't want to step out of bounds.
That's why they have the paint the lines around the court there,
Fundamental, basic, elemental.
That was a minute to go. Oh! That might wake him up. DJ Carton, hello. Woo! Okay.
A little caffeine.
Brings Marquette within 5. 9 points now for Carton. There's more probing, and he loses the handle. This will go back to Marquette. Another turnover for Villanova, their 7th.
Yeah, an inspired run here by Marquette, and DJ Carton just getting nasty. Attacking the rim, chewing some glass while he was up there. Emphatic flush.
So they get the turnover from Swider stepping out. Another turnover on that last possession. All of a sudden, a chance to draw within a single possession here. And a bad dribble from Carton. Ran into a wall in the paint. And the timeout is taken by Jay Wright with 22 seconds left in the half. 5-point game in Philly. Well, millions of kids nationwide are without their normal access to sports and play due to COVID-19. That's why Fox Sports and Good Sports are restoring play for kids and the programs that serve them through donations of brand new sports equipment. Text play to the number on your screen to help keep kids in the game. Well, we're missing the fans. One of the best atmospheres in college basketball, the low roof Finneran Pavilion. Some work done here on DJ Carton. Boy, the way he elevated on the dunk, he might have just clipped his forehead on the rim. Goodness.
Or the top of the backboard.
Goodness.
David Thompson style going back in the day, the old NC State.
So 22 seconds left in the half. Villanova by 5 out of the timeout. Gillespie will let the clock run down. Marquette's been hanging with him. See if they can get a stop on this final possession of the half. Gillespie off the ball fake. Samuels back to Gillespie. To the outside, Daniels off the mark from three. Gillespie with time winding down. Daniels another try. He's got it. Oh, that is classic Villanova. Second chance opportunity. And Daniels buries the three to end the half.
Yeah, the long rebound. Gillespie was trying to get back on defense, then realized he could secure that offensive rebound. And an excellent delivery once again to Caleb Daniels, who shoots 44% from long distance. Alex, bottoms.
Third in the Big East in three-point shooting. And Villanova has an 8-point lead, their largest of the night. Into the half, our cheap halftime. Coming up next here on FS1. Conference play here. Big East Hoops on FS1. First half stats sponsored by Jeep Grand Cherokee. Marquette only led for 34 seconds in that first half. An 8-point lead for Villanova. Interestingly, they had the same number of field goals. Villanova got to the line more, and that's the difference of the game.
Yeah, and that's part of their deliberate approach. They really are patient, and they seek or search out matchup opportunities and make aggressive moves on the basket.
Marquette looking to get back to 500 on the season, split their season series with Villanova. Wildcats looking for back-to-back victories and to keep up with their torrent pace in Big East play. 7-1 in the league to start the year. Get a foul right off the hop here in the second half on Caleb Daniels. DJ Carton, the Ohio State transfer. Thunderous dunk to end the half, but Marquette unable to build on it, facing their largest deficit of the evening. And there's a steal for Samuels. Daniels to Gillespie. Now the seas parted for Daniels for the lefty finish.
Well, again, that's that aggressive attack on the rim. Taking the ball down the lane. Not settling for a jumper, which Daniels could have because he was open, but instead he saw the opportunity to drive it to the basket.
Now a 9-2 run going back to the first half for this Villanova team. Marquette in need of an answer. Nice defensive work from Justin Moore. Pulled out of the pile by Theo John. Time expiring on the shot clock. We'll see if they count it. That'll be a reprieve if they do. I don't think Jamal Cain got it off in time, though.
In those last two possessions, Alex, Samuels got into the passing lane, deflected the ball away. As we take a look, appears it's still in his hands there. I don't think this one will count. But then in the post, just following up on the defensive theme here early in the second half, Justin Moore moving the feet, getting around on the inside interior defense, and he deflects one away as well, which ultimately leads to the shot clock expiration.
Here's the thing, 7 turnovers for Marquette. Doesn't sound like a huge amount. It isn't. Villanova with an 18-5 edge, points off turnovers.
Yeah, they're able to boat race, motor down the floor, and capitalize off the Golden Eagles' miscues.
But the savvy from both Gillespie and Samuels, leaving Robinson Earl a wide open look from three.
That was textbook Villanova basketball. Gillespie drives it in. He draws a crowd of Golden Eagles and then pitches the ball back out. The hockey assist to the corner, the open three, and Wojo wants a timeout to talk it over.
Robinson Earl leading the Cats with 13 tonight.
Well, playing hot potato, sharing the sugar. Timeout.
There's only one 13-point lead for Villanova. And picking up where they left off in the first half, with this savvy play from the Wildcats.
Well, the old drive, draw, defenders, and kick. 4 Golden Eagles collapse to Colin Gillespie's drive or attack on the basket. He wisely reverse pivots, kicks it out to Samuels, who drives again and then finds Robinson Earl in the corner. And this is where Villanova makes you pick your poison, because if you play Colin Gillespie straight up or Justin Moore straight up or Samuels straight up, they'll make you pay in single coverage with their ability to score. If you collapse and help, like an accordion, like bees on honey, swarming into the post, then they pitch it out and they bang those 3 at 38% from behind the arc and 10 threes per game.
They're an experienced team, which has helped them out a lot this year. All the pauses, no drop-off in chemistry, 12 assists on 15 made field goals, 12-2 run, heading back to the first half. A 3 from Jamal Cain, pops back out, and shot clock reset here for Marquette. Driving McEwen, and he gets hit.
I like the choice by McEwen to put it on the deck and attack the rim. Draws the foul, gets himself to the free throw line, and that's a great way to chip away at a deficit, is offensive rebound putbacks and getting yourself to the foul line. There's no 10-point play, 12-point play, 13-point play. Of course, you have to convert from the foul line once you get there.
McEwen usually reliable in that department. Splits the pair here, 76% from the stripe on the season. 12-point lead for Villanova, but get a feeling they smell blood in the water here to begin the half. Gillespie slips these underneath, and then a nice bounce pass from Samuels to Robinson Earl. It'll stay with Villanova despite the argument from Theo John.
Robinson Earl and Samuels again playing in pairs. A good dish by Gillespie, and Samuels gets behind the defense there, delivers the pass to Robinson Earl, just not able to finish.
Wild take there from Samuels, knifing through the traffic.
Samuels never got the feet organized there. If he could have gathered, again, like a cat.
Pass to McEwen, and he hits the 3. Gillespie knocked down at the low block. He's a little shaken up. See what comes of this. And just the elbow from Theo John there. Tough to tell, inadvertent or otherwise.
Kobe McEwen, made the second of those 2 free throws, and sometimes out just seeing the ball go through a net gives you some confidence, and that rim gets a little bit bigger. The next possession, he knocks down a 3-pointer, and Marquette would be wise to play through him some.
Referee's conferencing here after taking a look at the video. Let's see if this is intentional, maybe.
Yeah, I think Theo John was just looking to box out, and it's natural for the hands to come up as you try and position yourself to rebound the ball. And Colin Gillespie, because he gives away some size, his face is right there at the level of Theo John's elbow. But I didn't see him swing it with the intent to knock Gillespie into the chops.
Well, walk me through the rule here, Lav. Does intent matter in this situation?
I mean, he's definitely opening up his arms, but it wasn't swinging elbows to try and intentionally knock Gillespie in the chops.
They do call the flagrant 1.
Important to wear a mouthpiece. We made it mandatory for our players to wear a mouthpiece to protect those chiclets.
What, you don't want a hockey smile?
For later in life.
Well, a flagrant on John. That's his third foul.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
If I was Wojciechowski, I would not be happy. And it's not in Theo John's nature. If you look at, the track record in terms of sportsmanship and composure on the floor, very steady, even-keeled leader. Even here with the foul, I really appreciate the maturity just to play through it, get to the next play. Can't control it. It's behind you now.
Well, it's 2 in the ball for the Wildcats, leading by 13. Largest lead of the night. Robinson Earl. The offense has been run through him. Jumper for Samuels. And he's smooth, too, coming off those 32 points, as we mentioned on Sunday.
Those two are becoming like Fred and Ginger, or Hope and Crosby, or Butch and Sundance. What a pair. They truly look out for one another, Samuels and Robinson Earl. And they intuit. They have a sense for one another on the floor. And that's a little offense within itself for Jay Wright. And speaking of two-man game, here it is. Robinson Earl squared up, uses the bounce, comes to a jump stop, and sees Samuels in the corner. He's picked up from where he left off that 32-point performance against Georgetown, and torching the Nets here tonight against the Golden Eagles.
Meanwhile, Dawson Garcia is 4 points shy of a career high. Couldn't convert the three-point play. It's an 11-point lead for Villanova. Until that made from 3. Justin Moore connects. 5th tray of the night for the Wildcats. And it's now a 14-point margin. Wild drive, and it's going to be a defensive foul here with DJ Carton out of control on the take.
Now some quick ball movement on display by Villanova. Gillespie to Samuels around the horn, and Moore with the catch and shoot, the quick trigger, and just splashes one through. With the microphones up there on the basket, you could hear the cord just rip. String music. Jay Wright, even with a 14-point lead, still lobbying. Wants that next call.
It's small things for Marquette right now, but those free throws, they've only missed 3 of them. It just feels like more, just given the context of the game.
Coaches are never satisfied.
Yeah.
That's what makes Jay Wright unique and special, right? That competitive, hard edge, still interested, not complacent, and driving for another national championship.
52-39. Villanova, 8 of their 12 wins this year have come by double digits. Gillespie. Slick dribbling.
He keeps the dribble alive, similar to a Steve Nash type, and sprays the ball across court to Justin Moore.
Oh! Late in the shot clock. That is a heartbreaker if you're trying to defend it.
Yeah, cool customer, too. No rush with the clock running down. Just poised, takes his time, lines it up. There's a steal by Robinson Earl once again.
And he gets fouled. Villanova perfect from 3 in the second half. 3 for 3. Moore knocking it down, and Jay Wright is loving it. Timeout on the floor. Continue, and what a speedy start to this half for Villanova. 3 of their last 3 from the field, a 55-39 lead, and right now it feels like a two-man game with Jermaine Samuels and Jeremiah Robinson Earl just toying with Marquette at the moment.
Yeah, and that's what Villanova drills in practices. There's two-man game, there's three-man game, and really the rest is about spacing. And so that's whether it's give and go, pick and pop, the passer who's reading the defense, the screener and the cutter, and these little games within the game offensively, Villanova has mastered. And Samuels and Robinson Earl are an example of the two-man game within the game.
There's Daniels. Patience. Using the glass.
Well, again, when you're shooting the balls proficiently, as Villanova has this year, over 38%, 10 three-pointers made, team's game plan to take those threes away. And what it opens is the drive game and the post, more time and space to operate.
Three from Jamal Cain here. But I know we sometimes overuse the word efficient. Villanova is averaging almost 1.4 points per possession. A block here from John. But the Wildcats, just between their shooting percentage, they've assisted all but 4 of the made field goals. Yeah, nice tip there from Garcia off the errant shot to finish. And Garcia's having himself a night, up to 16 points, 18 points, I should say.
And Jay Wright going to get a timeout. Doesn't want his Cats to get complacent. Here's Daniels with the drive, but just beat up by Theo John. And going the other way, errant shot by Kobe McEwen. But a nice putback, the controlled one-hand tip.
Well, this is why Marquette, I think there's some frustration with this program this year, the way things have gone. They've looked great in spurts. They have a couple wins against ranked teams, beat Wisconsin at the buzzer early in the year, beat Creighton back in December. But despite playing a really tough non-conference schedule, they come into Big East play, think things are working out well, and just sputtered a bit.
And they had the heartbreaking loss to Xavier.
They've been on both sides of it, haven't they? A lot of tight losses to go along with those heart attack wins.
Their team that's capable of winning the Big East tournament, with their balance, if they're at full strength. Justin Lewis back in the mix. There's a nice anticipation steal by DJ Carton, just jams one home. He's had some impressive climbing the ladder dunks this evening against the Cats.
You know what, Carton has made some energy plays, right? Those dunks included.
And now it's about sustaining for Marquette. Get a string of shutouts or stops as Moore takes one to the hoop and finishes at point-blank range. Strong move, little hesitation, then he can accelerate. Makes him very difficult to defend or keep in front if you're an opponent.
McEwen with those 3 fouls, nothing he could do, and there's a turnover for Marquette. They had a 7-0 run, and the turnover.
Yeah, just a soft pass, not enough velocity. And Carton gets into the lane, takes it the other way. It's like a quick 6 in football. Interception into the end zone.
Robinson Earl on 13 points.
Yeah, all of those Wildcats, they jump stop. They've mastered their footwork in terms of getting feet organized and gathering the balance. There's another example, the pirouette, Barishnikov spin move by Robinson Earl, and the length to finish over the top. So efficient and smooth with that footwork.
Here's the thing, too. With all the ways they can beat you, and with COVID, they've paused so often, they haven't been taxed all that much physically.
Here's the jab step, the drive, the spin move. And again, there's time and space on the inside for Villanova players to go to work because of the threat of the three-point shot. And defenses get distorted, extend. Nice jump hook by Theo John. He's mastered that. No hesitation, the decisiveness and confidence.
6 points to go along with the 4 boards. But it's still a 13-point lead for Villanova.
Samuels likes to creep along the baseline. There's a turnover by Villanova, and this is a sustained effort here by Marquette. They're going to crawl back into the game, plenty of time. First goal is to get it under double digits, just from a psychological standpoint. And you break the game into increments, little 3-4 minute battles remain. And at each timeout, you want to have chipped away some, and now in the last 4 minutes, you're in a tight game with a chance to win.
Now they've got to take advantage of the turnover here. Foul inside will go against Villanova.
Officials got to stay on top of this game. See the physical nature in the basket area and the chippiness. And everyone's nerves are frayed in February. And in a year like this, even more so with the frustration, the disruptions, the
muscle here from Theo John.
Wow, Macho Man going to work. One of the great tunes back in the day. Macho Man.
Boy, he is built, isn't he?
Stout.
And it's down to 11. And Gillespie, tight defense here from DJ Carton. Gillespie spins away. Carton walling him up. Eric Dixon into the game. Late pass. Samuels off the mark from 3. Loose ball foul. And Marquette just hanging here. Theo John going to work inside.
The back down dribble. The weight room. Absorbs the contact, keeps the concentration, puts it down off the window.
61-50 Villanova here. We know how tight-knit the college basketball world is, and especially the family at Villanova. Basketball world lost a legend this week. Tom Konchalski made his impact scouting high school talent for over 43 years, including Villanova alumni Alan Ray, Curtis Sumter, Mike Nardi, among others. Took ownership of the 5-star basketball camp. So many legends came through there. Michael Jordan, Dominique Wilkins, LeBron James, Kevin Durant. He will be greatly missed by everyone in the basketball community.
Well, Alex, I mean, he was not only an outstanding talent evaluator, but a devout Catholic, a strong intellect, a good friend, and someone that had an appetite for the Renaissance. I mean, he loved art, music, literature, cinema. He'd always have good advice on a new book that came out that he'd suggest, or a movie to see, an exhibit to go to at the Whitney. I remember him suggesting Edward Hopper. At one point, there was an exhibit in New York at the Whitney that I ended up going to. So the intellect, the kindness, the humility, just a special person, and he touched so many lives in basketball. That was really the vehicle or the medium, the platform that he had, but so much more than just a talent evaluator. While he did that very well, don't get me wrong.
It's been a tough year for Villanova program. Helene Mercanti, director of team operations, passed away last summer. A tight-knit family, especially this program. Lead down to 9 after some free throws from the Golden Eagles. Garcia tying a career high with 20 on the night. Let's see if the Wildcats have a response here. Robinson Earl, yes. Well, that's right on cue. Robinson Earl splashes one in.
And that's what's unique. Again, another example of how Villanova inverts offensively. They'll step the bigs out behind the three-point line and allow the guards to operate inside. And those capable decision makers and playmakers find the bigs on the perimeter.
It opens up guys like Arcidiacono and Jenkins for years.
Yeah, and it draws the opposing big men out from the basket area. So that helps you in terms of rebounding and, again, time and space to go to work inside.
Another strong defensive possession. Another frustrating one for Kobe McEwen. 12-point lead for Villanova.
Again, no one in the lane, so Justin Moore just takes it in and rifles one back to Robinson Earl. Again, invert your thinking. Very creative approach offensively for Villanova.
21 for the sophomore.
And that goes back to recruiting. You know, making sure that the personnel that you bring to a program fits, is a marriage with your system or style of play.
How frustrating it must be Marquette just getting this lead down to single digits, and then Robinson Earl at it again.
Yeah, so much space to operate because Samuels and Robinson Earl are behind the three-point arc. Defenses collapse like an accordion, then you kick it back out for the open three. Just a good read and react. It's really concept basketball with outstanding spacing, but if you don't have the skill of Villanova, that offense wouldn't look quite as effective.
Right. And you're talking about two sophomores there on that possession, Justin Moore, Jeremiah Robinson Earl. And there is the extra year. We'll see how many for Villanova take advantage of it, but there's support behind the stars and the seniors for years to come as Garcia checks out with a career-high 22 now.
Seemingly forever, Villanova's had great guards, right? Ryan Archidiacono, Josh Hart.
Robinson Earl can't miss.
He is just feeling it in the zone. There's just an ease, a flow, taking what the defense gives. Doesn't force. And the precision, just surgical as a frontline player. Got a bright future, to say the least. You think?
9 for 10 from the field tonight. Perfect from 3. In and out from Theo John. It's been that kind of night in Tice for Marquette. Missed on a whole bunch of layups in the first half. And come up empty in a couple positions here in the second. Some good looks. 70-54.
Now they're deploying Robinson Earl inside, so they start him outside. He gets involved, follows his own pass, sets an on-ball screen, gets an interior catch, and starts to attack the rim, picks up the foul. So deploying your personnel in a manner to take advantage of skill sets and matchups against opponents. A little bit of an NBA flavor here as well by Villanova.
A little bit of an NBA-style takeover. He has Villanova's last 11 points. Swider off the mark from 3.
Yeah, they take turns, right? They find the hot hand, and they'll continue to milk it.
McEwen's tough night continues. 7 points for McEwen as Robinson Earl saves the possession here. Gillespie, and he keeps the three-point parade coming for the Wildcats.
Now just launching rockets from all angles. That was a heck of a catch by Robinson Earl. Maintained his balance, the presence of mind.
Timeout Marquette. Villanova 7 of 9 from the perimeter this half.
Yeah, just torching the nets. Gillespie with the textbook technique, shot mechanics. Go back to CYO basketball. Lock and load. Timeout. Big East in 2011 had a record-setting 11 NCAA tournament bids. I think the Big Ten this year, somewhere between 7 and 10, depending how things unfold here down the stretch. Garcia, once again, stretching the defense. Good rotation on that release as it comes off his middle 3 fingers. He has the gooseneck, the pronation, and the wrist as well. Holds that follow-through.
Yep. A terrific night for Garcia. A lone bright spot, perhaps, for Marquette. Again, maybe microcosm of the season. Had good spurts here or there. But turnovers at inopportune times. Villanova took full advantage. 25 points off of just 12 Marquette turnovers. Here is Craig Elliott jostling for the ball, and Garcia took one off the face.
Yeah, it's been feisty, competitive, spirited this evening, which is what we've come to expect out of the Big East through the years. What's at stake, the significance at this time of the year of each game, and it's reflected in the competitive nature of these two teams facing each other.
Brandon Slater coming off the bench. Villanova that usually keeps a pretty tight rotation, but getting Slater some minutes here late. I mean, what do we think of this Villanova team? We're a month away from the Big East tournament, a little bit one day later this year. March Madness will get underway. We talked about earlier whether they're going to be on the one line. There was an interesting comment by Jay Wright, and Jermaine Samuels was talking about it as well. Dealing with a little bit of an injury, hand injury, but the pauses for Villanova, keep in mind, this is only 14 games played coming into tonight. They're fairly rested compared to a lot of other teams, and I wonder if that'll help them come March. Foul here on the loose ball.
Jay Wright, one of the best at understanding how to finish, and that's why his teams have been so strong late in the year. And I don't think this year will be any exception. You look on the perimeter, their three guards are as good as any in the country. As a team, shoot 38% behind the arc. Samuels now beginning to play the best basketball of his career. We've already talked about Robinson Earl being the most intelligent frontline player in America. You put that all together with the coach. It's been to 3 Final Fours, won 2 national titles. I don't think this year will be any exception. They'll be in the mix in terms of national title contention.
Daniels knocks down a 3. By the way, Theo John, that last defense, the last possession, I should say, for Marquette going after the loose ball, picked up his 4th foul.
Just going back to that point, Alex.
Yeah.
Gillespie, Moore, Daniels. Those 3. Daniels, the pickup from Tulane, the free agent, came over to Villanova. He's been a great asset in terms of a seamless transition and keeping Villanova right at the top.
Yeah, this is how it looks right now, according to Mike DeCourcy. UConn, that's a tough loss against Providence, a rivalry game earlier today. St. John's, you had them last night. Butler coming up large at home. Comeback win.
Yeah, from 16 down in the first half. And, of course, earlier in the year they came back from 16 down against Creighton to win in overtime. So the Bulldogs, with a lot of young pieces, they'll bring everyone back next year, very likely at least, with the NCAA waiver as a result of COVID, and they'll be tough to deal with next year.
They've credited Colin Gillespie with an assist on that last 3-point make. That is his 10th on the night, and it's a double-double, 12 points, 10 assists for Colin Gillespie, just the 3rd double-double of his career.
I'm so disappointed he has 2 turnovers.
It's just
shocked. I'm shocked, like Claude Rains was in Casablanca when they shut down Rick's Place.
You've been watching a lot of TCM, haven't you?
True. I'm dating myself, obviously, as well. Born in 1964. Big Bogart fan.
That's what the hotel quarantine's done to you.
Cagney, George Raft, Edward G. Robinson. I like the gangsters, the gangster movies.
Gillespie with those 10 assists, just 1 shy of a career high now. As Moore's off the mark from 3. 78-57. The lead is ballooned to 21 for Villanova.
You know, what's interesting about that, Alex, is we see Garcia clean up the garbage. Good pump fake. Keeps the ball high. Doesn't bring it down where the ball can be stripped by the diminutive one, the guards that are biting your kneecaps, and instead just puts it right back in. Intelligent approach. But going back to this deficit, the lead that Villanova has, they do it in a methodical, deliberate way. They just dismantle you, but they do it gradually.
Well, there's a nice find. Samuels to Gillespie. Marquette. Most of their offenses come from Dawson Garcia. It's unfortunate that on a career night, it's been overshadowed by the deficit they're facing today. There's a look for Caleb Daniels in transition after the turnover.
Impressive defense by Villanova in terms of getting into passing lanes. Active hands, active feet. You got to move the feet to put the hands in position to be able to make plays in terms of get deflections or to steal passes. Otherwise, you're lunging or gambling or reaching. You're not on balance. So the wheels, right, the equivalent of the feet, got to get there first so the hands can make a difference. And we're seeing that last play, Gillespie with the quick feet in position to get another steal.
Now Now 5 Villanova players in double figures. Gillespie, Daniels, Robinson, Earl, Moore, Samuels. And Villanova, after 84 points against Georgetown on Sunday, that was the most they had scored in a game since December, and put up 82 against Marquette tonight with 4:25 left to play.
Well, think about this, too. Villanova loses to Virginia Tech early. They rip off 9 straight wins. They lose to St. John's, and now they've come back with 2 highly impressive games. Offensively against Georgetown, here on both sides of the ball, the Cats have been sharp. I mean, executing at a premium level.
Foot on the line from Gillespie. It won't matter to him.
The confidence, right? Every Cat that gets a catch is squared up, aggressive, but making good judgments. But that confidence, the belief or faith, such a factor for Villanova.
Shooting 62% from the field tonight. And Garcia has the ball knocked away, and the Wildcats keeping the energy up. Brandon Slater applauding the defensive play. It is all Villanova. Now, Villanova as a team is 4 points shy of their season high in scoring. If you want to play Villanova, you better defend the 3-point arc.
You know, passer makes a shooter. That's a term that coaches use to encourage players to put it right into a shooter's shot pocket. Similar in baseball, catcher sets up and a pitcher throws to that target. And these passes are on point and precise, which sets up a shooter, gives him that split second more time before the defense recovers to be able to play splash, putting it through the net.
What are they doing tonight, Lav? Sharing the sugar.
They are sharing the sugar. It's a cohesive unit.
Yep.
If you're Marquette on the flip side, the great thing about conference tournaments is between now and the conference tournament, you're preparing. You get that fresh start, a reset, a new beginning. Everyone's record is really irrelevant once you step into a conference tournament, and they could punch their ticket through taking care of business in the Big East tournament. Easier said than done.
I was going to say, I like what you said in terms of they get to the conference tournament. They're going to be plenty dangerous just based on personnel if they can reset. It's a bit of a skid right now.
And they've got to get Justin Lewis back.
Yeah.
He is someone that influences the game so positively on offense and defense, a budding superstar.
Rebound pulled down here by Slater. Brian Antoine out of the game for the first time this year, wearing 1 in white. His first minutes of the season as Robinson Earl continues to build on his impressive night. That's now 27 for Robinson Earl, and he's 1 point shy of a career high.
And Steve Wojciechowski in film session tomorrow will be reviewing, rewinding a number of these possessions. You've got to know at this point where Robinson Earl is on the floor. Have awareness, given he's got the hot hand, and he has been ripping the cords from all angles as Villanova continues to launch the Rockets.
Speaking of ripping the cords, continue to light it up from 3. That's 13 trays, 90 points in all. A season high for Villanova. And a second half that they just ran away with. 50 second half points.
Again, the bounce back. Jay Wright, the ability to sharpen the axe after a defeat, take that report card, go back, watch game film, then get on the floor and rep it to improve the areas that they were faulty in that loss to St. John's. I think the St. John's loss helped the Villanova. They'll be better as a result.
What do we think of this Creighton game here? They got to play Creighton twice down the stretch.
Well, it's a battle of tempos. You know, obviously, Villanova puts up big numbers efficiently with their three-point shooting, getting to the foul line, controlling or imposing their preferred tempo on opponents. Creighton gets the ball out off opponents made baskets and off of stops and shutouts gets down the floor as fast as anyone in the country, and they also attack the three at a very effective pace and rate. So tortoise in the hare, who can impose their preferred tempo for more of that game will go a long way to determining the victor.
Marquette, meanwhile, this is the first of 5 straight on the road for Marquette. If they're going to sort things out, it's going to be difficult being away from home. Had a glut of home games early in the season with the schedule moved around here. They haven't played a 5-game road trip or 5 straight on the road, however you want to term it, since they were still independent back in the 1980-81 season. So Marquette going to log some frequent flyer miles here over the next couple weeks.
And when you have a tough stretch as Marquette has, we call it, the fog of battle, you can lose your way in terms of confidence, and you become fragile, and that affects your ability to perform at the level necessary in the Big East. And this just appears to be partly because of Justin Lewis, but also the stretch of games and defeats where they need a recharge. Just like a cell phone that's worn down, you've got to recharge that battery. And then find a way to get a win, because suddenly you can change momentum, and young people are resilient, and you can find your way suddenly going on a streak. I had a team at UCLA. Matter of fact, I had a team at UCLA that was 4-8 in Pac-10 play, and we won our last 6 in conference. Got a couple in the NCAA tournament. All of a sudden, we're playing on the weekend to go to the Final Four. I had a St. John's team was 0-5 in conference, 1-4 in conference, and ended up going to NCAA tournament. So you've just got to keep grinding, keep improving, and kids are resilient. They'll respond.
Not that the pandemic is a good thing in any way. Curiously, there hasn't been a pause for Marquette any length of time. Had a couple games postponed, but haven't really had a long layoff this year. And some teams, granted it's not a good thing, but some teams have been able to use that as a positive when they have a stoppage in their calendar. I think Villanova is a good example of a team that did just that. Came out of the gate right out of their pause and ripped off a couple of impressive wins.
Yeah, they had a close one against Seton Hall that went down the wire. They were able to pull that one out, and they just continued to improve until they ran in to Mike Anderson's improving St. John's team, and that's not a bad loss. St. John's could end up being in the NCAA tournament.
Then again, I've talked to Van Jordan, the coach at Butler, and he said that out of their pause, their first pause of the season, their free throws were hitting the backboard and not hitting the front rim on the way back. Yeah, so it could go either way.
Well, there's no doubt your routines are changed, and athletes, coaches, teams are creatures of habit, right? The drum roll into competition, just like musicians, the rehearsals are important in terms of how you end up performing. And when those rehearsals or practices, the drum roll, so to speak, is disrupted, it's bound to affect performance.
Well, this will be a disappointing loss for Marquette after a tight one against Creighton over the weekend. Great day, though, for Dawson Garcia, and you hope he can continue to build on it. Top-scoring freshman in the Big East, 28 points. That matches the most by a Marquette player all season. McEwen had 28 against Green Bay earlier in the year, but the night belongs to Villanova. They continue to pace the Big East, a season-high 96 points for the Villanova Wildcats, and they remain the team to beat in the Big East this year. A dominant performance, including 56 in the second half for the Wildcats. 96-64 the final. What a performance for Jay Wright's bunch. So for Steve Lavin and our entire Fox Sports crew, this is Alex Fowles bidding you so long from Philadelphia. Coming up next, NFL turning point. The Villanova Wildcats improved to 13-2 on the season, 8-1 in Big East play. Marquette falls to 9-11, 5-9 in conference. Big East basketball continues this weekend. Villanova Creighton, part of a doubleheader on Fox. We'll see you then. 96-64 the final tonight. Good night.